Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear Venerable Sangha, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to join us in this weekly Buddhist Newsreel on Phật online channel. Hereafter, 6 major headlines of Buddhist activities of the week. First Dharma talk delivered by the VPS Supreme Patriarch in 10-day monastic retreat at Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City. Lào Cai, Grand Prayer for Peace and the VESAK Day celebration on Fansipan Mountain Peak. Ho Chi Minh City, Office 2 of the Central Board in Quảng Đức Zen Monastery opens VASSA of Buddha year 2567. Ho Chi Minh City leaders offer incense at Bodhisattva Quảng Đức statue. Vietnam Buddhist Sangha celebrates 60th year of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức self-immolation, 1963-2023. Buddhists in provinces open the VASSA of Buddha year 2567. And following are the news in details. On the first day of the 10-day monastic retreat at Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, it was June 4th, 2023, the Venerable monks of the Study Director Board, the Teaching Board, the Management Board, and more than 1,300 monks and nuns aggregated at Minh Châu Lecture Hall, Campus 2 of the university, to listen to the Noble Dharma talk of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Rector of University, Elder Most Venerable TIểng ANH.
The rector of the university said that the 2023 training course takes place in the context of Buddhism nationwide to celebrate the Buddha's birthday and the 60th anniversary of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức cremation. He mentioned the merits, painstaking practice, and shining religious life of the current Elder Most Venerables and predecessors as an example for the successors. He reminded each monk and nun to be mindful in every word and deed. The practice of meditation will surely bring the ultimate results, helping the precious jewel in the mind to become purer. Each disciple of the Tathagata needs to reflect on himself, to practice relentlessly to penetrate the sutras, and to take the teachings of the sutras as a guideline for his or her own religious life.
At the Fansipan Legend Spiritual Cultural Complex, an invocation ceremony to pray for national peace and prosperity and celebrate VESAK Day on the sacred top of Fansipan Mountain, Sapa Town, Lào Cai Province, took place on the full moon date of April.
The mass audience listened to the message of the Supreme Patriarch of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha and the Buddha's birthday speech by the Most Venerable Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. After citing the Medicine Sutra to pray for the peace of the nation, the monks and nuns recited the Birthday Sutra and performed the ritual of purification, bathing the statue of newborn Buddha. At the ceremony, Venerable Thích Thiêng delivered the Dharma talk with the topic, Blessed by Buddha. This is the first time monks sharing the Dharma talks on Fansipan Mountain Peak. The Venerable reviewed the life, ethics, and history of the Buddha. After attaining enlightenment, Buddha returned to meet 5 Brahmin brothers to teach the Dharma, helping them to be enlightened and liberated. Next is the program Lit Lantern Offerings to Buddha. Nearly 1,000 lighting candles were arranged toward national prosperity, people's serenity, and swatika in the courtyard surrounding the great Buddha statue. Altogether created a masterpiece of light, bringing a shimmering, fanciful scene at the sacred peak of Fansipan. Fansipan is considered a sacred peak, where it absorbed a lot of energy and the aura of heaven and earth. Fansipan Spiritual Complex includes 12 architectural works with ancient Vietnamese pagodas. Every year, a large number of Buddhists come to pay homage to the spiritual complex amidst the clouds and the mountains, especially during major Buddhist fiestas.
On the morning of June 6, Quảng Đức Zen Monastery Retreat Point, District 3, Ho Chi Minh City, Central Office 2, officially opened the retreat year 2567.
the Most Venerable TIයෙන් NGANY, Chairman of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Administrative Council, head of the Central Monastic Affairs Section, attended the ceremony along with the Venerable Elders of the Buddhist Council of Patrons, the Venerable of Office 2, and Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Board. In his opening remarks, Venerable Phước Nguyên, Chief of Office 2, emphasized, opening the course to settle down here, in addition to the noble meaning in the spirit of the law to help the monks to cultivate the 3 precepts to purify the mind and body, there is another important meaning, that is, to continue the volitions and wishes of the previous monks, especially the enthusiasm of the late Venerable Hiền Pháp and the 2 subordinate abbots of Quảng Đức Monastery. At the same time, this is also the wish of the current leaders of the Sangha. Reporting on the organizational undertaking, Venerable Minh Anh, Secretary of the Central Office 2, informed about the purpose, meaning, organization and content of the VASSA of year 2567. Practitioners residing at Quảng Đức Zen Monastery include 30 bhikkhus, divided into 2 groups, named Ananda and Mahakasyapa. Practitioners come from the eastern and southwestern provinces. The retreat program starts from 3:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Before that, on the afternoon of the 16th of April, the practitioners performed the ritual bowing at the Patriarchal Hall under the chairmanship of Most Venerable Thiện Nhân and Most Venerable Huệ Trí. At the ceremony, the practitioners vowed to diligently practice for 3 months at the retreat point. In his bestowing words, Most Venerable Thích Thanh Hùng encouraged the practitioners and hoped that practitioners would diligently study in the spirit of harmonies, keep the precepts strictly, keep body and mind pure, and cultivate the 3 precepts. Most Venerable wished all practitioners to grow in virtue after the summer season of retreat. The Buddhist ashram of Binh Đạo Pagoda, Pháp Tạng Pagoda, and Thiên Chánh Pagoda made a vow to protect the 3 jewels and make donations to help the monks feel secure to study during the retreat at Quảng Đức Monastery. Most Venerable the Chairman and Most Venerable Thanh Hùng also supported with their funding to help practitioners feel secure during the season of retreat.
On the occasion of the 60th commemoration of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức self-immolation, on the morning of June 7, 2023, Mr. Phan Văn Mãi, Chairman of the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City, came to offer incense and laid a memorial wreath at the monument of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức in District 3.
In witness, it was honored to have Most Venerable Thích Lễ Trang, head of Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Board, together with Venerable Honorifics of the Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Sangha. Ho Chi Minh City Leadership Representative Mr. Phan Văn Mãi, Chairman of the City People's Committee, and the Reverend Honorifics respectfully offered incense to commemorate and pay tribute to the merits of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức, the cremated deity and the martyrs who sacrificed for the religions, eternal Dharma, world peace, peaceful living beings, contributing to the cause of national liberation and national reunification. The government leaders and Buddhists in Ho Chi Minh City share story about Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức with the revolutionary movement in the south and couplets praising the Bodhisattva deeds donated by Uncle Ho. It was a historical event that shocked the world 60 years ago. Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức burned himself at the intersection of Lê Văn Duyệt, Phan Đình Phùng, Ho Chi Minh City. On the historic spot, the statue of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức was built in recognition of his merits to the Dharma and the nation. This is a city-level cultural and historical construction, receiving the attention of the masses and wonders of domestic and foreign tourists.
On the morning of June 7, the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha and the Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Board at Vietnam National Pagoda in Ho Chi Minh City held the 60th commemoration of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức self-immolation with the participation of thousands of people, monks and nuns and Buddhists.
Most Venerable Thích Quảng Đức is known as Lâm Văn Tuất by secular name, born in 1897 in Khánh Hòa Province. When he was 7 years old, He was allowed by his parents to be a renunciate in companion with Most Venerable Như Đạt Giải Nghĩa Hoàng Thâm, Abbot of Long Sơn Pagoda, under Trúc Thành Gian lineage. At the age of 15, he was ordained as a novice monk. At the age of 20, he was ordained as a monk and a bodhisattva with the Dharma name of Quảng Đức. On the 11th of June, 1963, on the 20th of April of the Rabbit Lunar New Year, he burned himself to make offerings to the Buddhas and to protect the Buddha Dharma in the presence of more than 800 monks, nuns, and Buddhists at the intersection of Phan Đình Phùng and Lê Văn Duyệt Street in the movement to protest against the Ngô Đình Diệm government's suppression of Buddhism. He left an immortal heart for posterity and became a spiritual symbol of Vietnamese Buddhism for peace and human happiness. Paying tribute in words, Most Venerable Chairman of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Administrative Council said that it was a sacrifice, undying heart, and great sacrifice of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức that were a positive factor, forging the spirit of solidarity and determination of Vietnamese monks, nuns, and Buddhists, the unification of Vietnamese Buddhism in the whole country. The formation of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in 1981 is the culmination of the era and history of Vietnamese Buddhism in an independent, unified, democratic, and free country. The Dharma Master of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha also recalled the image of Bodhisattva Thích Quảng Đức using his body to light the sacred fire, upholding the fearless and compassionate spirit of the Supreme Master, who died for the existence of the Dharma in the nation. The Dharma prelate said that the real Bodhisattva was an exemplary and authentic practitioner of the Lotus Sutra of an arahant, with the appearance of an ordinary person, but bearing inside the mind of a great man of Bodhisattva level.
Pursuant to the circular number 61 TB-HDDS, issued by Most Venerable TIểng Anh, Chairman of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Parochial Council and Head of the Central Monastic Affairs Section, with instructions to organize the VASSA of year 2567. It is stated that, based on the Vinaya Pitaka and the tradition of retreat, monks and nuns have to settle down every year for 3 months to strengthen body and mind, cultivate precepts, concentration, wisdom, keep the rules of Dharma, dignify the Sangha, and common interests. Accordingly, the provincial Buddhist boards have opened a retreat course of year 2567 for monks and nuns, and following are some locations for retreat aggregation.
On the morning of June 4th, 2023, at Đức Long Pagoda, Lai Vung District, Đồng Tháp Province, the Provincial Buddhist Board opened the year 2567 session of the Buddhist retreat for 16 nuns, separated into 6 locations of retreat point. In his bestowing words, Most Venerable TIểng Minh encouraged the practitioners to follow the vows, cultivate precepts, concentration, wisdom, rely on the Sangha to practice, unite, harmonize, share, and sympathize to create unity of will and action of the Sangha. In the afternoon of the same day, Đồng Tháp Provincial Buddhist Board opened the VASSA course for 345 nuns living at Hưng Thiền Pagoda, Cao Lãnh District. At Kim Cang Pagoda, Thủ Thừa District, Long An Province, the Standing Committee of the Long An Provincial Buddhist Board opened the retreat course on the morning of June 3rd, 2023. In this year's summer retreat season, Buddhism in Long An Province held the courses at 12 summer schools for nearly 1,000 practitioners. On the morning of June 6, 2023, the Venerable monks and Buddhists of Phan Thiết, Hàm Thuận Nam District, and Hàm Thuận Bắc District gathered to join the summer retreat courses at Tòng Lâm Vạn Thiện, Phan Thiết City. At the main hall, the practitioners followed the Dharma rules to prepare for accommodation. The Zen master also reminded the meditators to strictly observe the precepts, cultivate the monastic heart, and abide by all the regulations of the retreat center. Previously, on June 5, 2023, The Provincial Buddhist Board opened the retreat at 2 locations, the Sangha at Trúc Lâm Zen Monastery in Sóc Trăng, accommodating about 40 practitioners, and the retreat at Đại Giác Pagoda for 60 practitioners. There are about 90 monks and nuns taking the role of abbots who register for living in confinement at pagoda for practice.
Venerable monks and nuns, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, the last news has started this weekly Buddhist Newsreel. Thank you for your attention and following. Goodbye and see you in the next program on PSO TV channel. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.